and I won't waste it.
Hello everyone, I'm FARMERSIM and welcome back to Growing the Dream here on Witcombe Park Farm. I do hope you're keeping very well and having a great day. So, it's been a little while since I've done an episode here on Witcombe. It feels like that from my side of things anyway. I think it's probably been a good couple of weeks, I think. So I do apologise for that. Just been, busy with life and focusing on a couple of other things. Obviously I've done a couple of episodes over on Delta South. That feed mixer does drive me a bit nuts, that one. It allows the bales to clip through the wall, doesn't it, there on the side of it? But anyway, it is what it is. But yeah, so very excited to be back here on Witcombe. Got a lot to do, got to crack on. But as you can see, we're now in November. In the last episode, we finished off with drilling the OSR up in field 38, and that was in September. Now, before cracking on with this episode, I kind of looked at things, and to me, October was a bit of a nothing month. There was not really much going on the farm. There wasn't going to be much field work to do, and I kind of thought, right, well, I'm really keen to crack on with the plan that I've always had in mind, which is in this in-game year anyway. The last thing that I really need to do, big job on my farm, is to sort the second grass field out, and before we can do that, we need to harvest the mint that's currently making up one of the three fields that's going to be joined together to make that a big grass field. So harvest time is November for the mint. It's now November. We're going to need to crack on with that. Now, things are looking okay. The weather's not been too bad through October and into the beginning of November. The field moisture is roughly around the right spot for where it needs to be. I think it's about 17.2%. There we go, that's them topped up for the day anyway. So I think we're roughly around a decent time to get that mint harvested. It's going to be the last crop out the ground this year on the farm, so yeah, need to make sure it's as good as it can be. But look at the money. £22,357 we now have in the bank, which isn't great. We left the last episode, I think it was we had about 60 odd grand just over in the bank. Now I've paid out quite a bit of money across from September to October, and from October into November. A lot of that money has been loan charges, loan interest, drying charges from the grain dryer. That we paid about 2 grand in drying charges, which was quite crazy. We paid about, where am I? I'm just looking at my notes, about just over 18 grand in loan payments and loan interest. Yeah, about 1,800 quid in drying charges, 2 grand in monitor subscriptions for realistic livestock, keeping an eye on the animals that we've got. So yeah, and I have had to buy in a few hay bales. I did mention a couple of times in the last couple of episodes that I felt I was going to be cutting it fine a bit with what we had on the farm to see me through till our first cut of grass, which is going to be in December, the very beginning of winter, which I know isn't ideal, but I don't really have a choice. It's got to be done. So yeah, we didn't actually make it. The amount of hay that we had didn't last us didn't see us through that time period, unfortunately. So yeah, I've had to spend a few quid on some hay bales just to make sure that the sheep and the cows and obviously the total mix ration mixing had enough hay to see us through. So that cost me a few quid. But one of the massive things that I got, and this came about as I moved from October to November, was I got a £5,000 fine from Red Tape for the muck management policy. So yeah, naughty. That was quite something. I wasn't expecting that. And again, harping on about the fact that there's so much to take on board and keep in mind with this series, again, not being used to having all these mods running, especially Red Tape. Yeah, muck management. I think I've got just north of 12,000 litres of muck over in the bunker by the dairy cows down there, and it just completely slipped my mind. Obviously, playing the game as we have been for so long, you're used to just being able to let it sit there and build up until you're ready to do what you want to do with it, and I suppose that's what I'd naturally just done by accident. But yeah, £5 I've had to pay for that, so I need to I need to do something with that. Not too sure what yet, but we'll figure that out in the near future. I've got a month to sort that out, otherwise I'm going to get another £5 fine moving into December. But yeah, money. So yeah, just over 22 grand, which yeah, considering where we were before, is not very much. Now, we've still got crops in the silo. At the minute, in November, collectively those crops are worth £37,024. The value is going up and up and up. Best sell time is January, and between now and then the price is you know, gradually rising. If I leave it till January, we've got just over 40 grand, £40,022 worth. So if I have to fall back on some of that crop to sell before time, then I will do. But we have got, also in pallet form, we've got just over £5,500 worth of pallets. We've got a few which we're going to go and sort out now. That's why I've just hitched up the flatbed trailer. We've got 4 pallets, I think it's 4 pallets of raspberries over in a little raspberry garden by the house there, and we also have a little bit of wool. Now, what happened in October, because I'm running Argsy's wonderful seasonal wool mod, I got a little notification in the top right hand corner of the screen as I got into October saying shearing season has begun, and the shearers are going to be there at 8 o'clock in the morning. And because I don't have many sheep on the farm, within a matter of minutes it was boom, they're all done. So yeah, but unfortunately, because I'm running realistic economy, and as seems, if any of you have seen the latest, or was it last season of, or one of the seasons of Clarkson's Farm anyway, you'll know that wool production on a farm isn't worth a lot of money. Now that wool, we've got, I think it's 2 or 3 pallets worth. It's worth 362 quid. So I think we paid about, I want to say about 70 or 80 quid for the privilege of having somebody come in and shear the wool for us. But yeah, selling it 360 odd quid. So once we paid out those wages, we get about 280, 290 quid for the wool that we've got on the farm. So it is what it is, do you know what I mean? But either way, because that bank balance has gone down a little bit, I do want to get a bit of money into the bank and, yeah, get those pallets picked up. And we're going to send them over to, we're going to go over to the farm shop and get them sold. And then once that's done, then we can crack on with the mint here. So let's just jump out and have a bit of a look at the field before we do. Fortunately, the weather is pretty good today. We've got sunshine, according to the forecast, for most of the day. But if we just have a quick step into the field here and just check out the details. So the expected range for field moisture is between 15 and 33%, and the field moisture levels are currently sat at 17.1. So we need to get this cut and harvested today, and well, I think for the time being we'll just throw it into the silo, and then we'll be able to just get an idea of what that of what it's worth and what it's going to add to our current crop total that we've got in there, and see how that goes. Now, it's not going to take too long. It's not a particularly big field, but obviously once it is done and the field is empty, then we can get the cultivator out, stitch all these 3 fields together, and possibly get the... Can I drill the grass in November? Let's just have a quick look. Where are we? I think we can, but I don't think it's the right thing to do, because if I drill the grass now, it's not going to do anything throughout winter, and then it's going to pick up in March. So I think it might be a good idea just to spend this time prepping the field and wait till March to drill the grass. Now, one of the things I'm going to do, I do want to do very quickly, actually, we'll jump into soil and fertilizer, because in between episodes, of course, like I said, we left off in the last episode when I was drilling the OSR up in field 38. Now, in between now and then and now, I have off camera drilled the wheat in field 10, and I've also completed all the tasks needed to finish off those fields in fields 38 and field 10. So I've rolled the OSR, rolled the wheat, and I've also treated both the fields with what soil and fertilizer told us we needed to treat them with. So as you can see, a few patches of green, which is all good. There are a couple of patches, actually, it's a bit weird, but these lines that you see in the field here, these correspond to the tramline pattern left by Precision Farming when Precision Farming was initially activated on this save before I switched it off and took on board the responsibility of soil and fertilizer. But for some reason, I can't increase the numbers in those strips of land where the tram lines were. So yeah, it's a bit odd, but either way, they've been treated with nitrogen, they've been treated with the phosphorus, and they have also been treated with potassium. We'd limed them before. Interestingly, with the potassium, actually. Sorry, I meant to mention there has actually been quite a sizable update to soil and fertilizer recently. As you'll probably be able to see, we don't have that square grid pattern across each field now. It's a kind of like a nice, much more uniform, much easier to kind of look at, I suppose, user interface, which is really cool. I know there's a very gifted modder called Wizardly Payload who has jumped on board to the team working on soil and fertilizer, and I think he did drop me a message the other day just asking if I had any recommendations when it comes to the user interface and the heads-up display. So he's been working on improving and working on that. But so he's looked really cool, dead happy with it. It looks much better, in my personal opinion, I've got to say. So a huge kudos and shout out to the team over at the Soil and Fertilizer mod there, the Coding Dad and Wizardly Payload and anyone else who's on board. Yeah, interestingly, with the potassium, what happened with it, because I did all this work using Courseplay, but with the potassium, it's like the application weight was being ramped up from the very start to the very finish. So as you can see, the headlands are all nice and green, but this, if you see where my mouse is here, this is the direction in which the Courseplay course ran, and then it picked up the headlands and finished off with the headlands. But it started here, and once it got to the outer part of the headland here, this is where it finished, it was like at its maximum application rate, so it was a bit odd. And it's done the same over here as well in field 38. This is where the course started, and it ran central rows first, up and down, up and down, up and down, and finishing off with the headlands, and it finished off up here. But it's gradually started and finished. Started at its lowest application rate and then finished at its highest. Do you know, am I making any sense there? It was just a bit odd. I'm not too sure whether that's just something, a characteristic that's purely down to the increasing of the potassium, because phosphorus seemed to work all right, as did the nitrogen. But anyway, just an observation I made while I was doing it. But one interesting feature that I hadn't actually considered about soil and fertilizer, and I'm going to see how this works over time. If I jump into, just go down to the help section, click very quickly over to soil and fertilizer and environmental effects. Fields left unplanted for more than 7 days slowly recover all their nutrients on their own. Now, I have the opportunity to kind of test this out on this save, because where we are on our crop plan, crop rotation, or whatever you want to call it, I currently have technically 4, but 3 fields. This field here, field 7 and 8, there's one field, but that's going to be oats, and we can't do that till March. Field 27 over here towards the north of the map, this is going to be mint, which we can't plant till March either. And we also have field 34 down here, which is going to be lavender, and we can't plant that till May. So neither of these fields have crops in as we speak, so I'm going to leave these. Obviously, we're going to be leaving them till early next year before we can do anything with them. So it's going to be interesting to see the soil and fertilizer, especially in field 27 here, wherever, especially like the nitrogen and the phosphorus look particularly low, what happens naturally with the increase in this soil. So yeah, interesting to see what that's going to do, because that could save me some money, you know what I mean, when it comes to forking out for the different products that soil and fertilizer requires. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see if we do get an increase naturally in all these products. And that's, forgive me, that was something else I did have to fork out a few quid on throughout the process. In between last episode and here was a couple of IBCs of liquid MAP, I think it was, when I was dealing with the treatment plan for both the fields, field 10 and field 38. But if we look at the treatment prescription that we've got for both the fields at the minute, both of them are peppered with some relatively large weeds, so we do need to get some herbicide purchased and sprayed on those fields relatively soon, both in field 38 and in field 10. So yeah, that's something I do need to get done as a matter of urgency. But obviously, because of the mechanics of the game, we're in November now. I'm in 5-day months, so it doesn't matter whether I do it now or on the 3rd or the 4th of November. It's still going to be the same result. So what I do want to do, though, is get a bit more money into the bank as quickly as possible. And because I'm running Ritter's fresh mod, I don't want any of these products that we've got right now to degrade in quality. So that's what we're going to do. Now I need to... what I am going to be having a go at is this manual forklift that I've got over here by the raspberry garden. And I do happen to know, because this is actually the second time that I'm recording this episode. Yesterday I started recording this episode, and I'll be honest, I had an absolute nightmare. It was I basically discovered a ridiculously large mod conflict. I don't know if any of you have ever experienced this before, but when you jump into a game and something just doesn't feel right, I know that sounds a bit dramatic, but something just didn't feel right. Everything wasn't behaving as it normally would. It seemed to take far too long to save the game. Normally on a 1x map and on Witcombe Park Farm especially, you click on save and it takes a second to save. Oh hello, we get the cab cinematic with that, don't we? Yeah, it takes a second or two, and for some reason it was taking a lot longer to do that, and it just made me think, hang on a minute, something doesn't feel quite right with this. And sure enough, after a wee while, I discovered that I was actually experiencing a massive mod conflict. I did get to the bottom of it, thankfully. It took me a very, very long time to get to the bottom of it, but I managed to fix it. I didn't press that. Why did you do that? The character view here is very odd when you're doing it. From this view, it's very strange. Look at that, the way your arms fold, and it's a bit weird, that. So I'm just going to come out of that. But yeah, so I've already done all of this that I'm doing now. I've already recorded it, but I just really wasn't very happy with it, and because the game wasn't behaving very well, I kind of felt I just wanted to redo it. So that's what I'm doing. And I do happen to know as well. See, this worked yesterday, but look at that. Oh, just. There was like an inch in it getting there, being successful to load these pallets onto the trailer here. The height was the distance between the pallet and the bed of the trailer was really, really tight. But again, because the ground isn't very even up here, this pallet truck, which is really quite cool, isn't it, operating like this? But it's a little bit difficult on the uneven ground. It seems to get stuck a bit in places. But anyway. And it automatically does that. I didn't do that then. I didn't change the view. Didn't press the button. Right. Let's get these loaded up. So, anyway, right. So I'm gonna sort this out. Get all these pallets onto the bed of the trailer. Sorry. And get them over to. We're going to take them down to the farm shop, which is down by that's the sell point that's opposite the main big farm that's on the map that I know a lot of players have started off with. Then we're going to get all these sold. Like I say, it's about $5.5 grand, which isn't a huge amount of money compared to some things in Farming Simulator, but at the end of the day, I need it, and that could take us back towards the high 20s at, well, we're on 22.5 grand here at the minute, so assuming we do get that 5.5 grand, it's going to take us to about 28 grand and a bit, so yeah, needs to be done, I think. So I'll crack on with this. Just speed it up a bit, throw a bit of music behind it, and I'll pick you up in a bit when we've sold those, and then that should be time to get ourselves back to the farm and sort out the harvester, because I do need to jumpstart the harvester, and I've made a couple of amendments to the advanced damage system, because I've said this a few times, haven't I, folks, that advanced damage system does not like batteries at all. And I think I found the fix for that, because of the default settings that advanced damage system was in when it comes to the amp hours of the vehicle battery. So I'll show you that quickly when we get to that, but for now I'm just going to get these pallets loaded on. I wish you'd stop doing that. Get these pallets loaded onto the trailer here, get them down to the farm shop, get a bit of money into the bank, and then get working. Right then, here we are. Let's get this lot sold. I'm hoping for, I think I've got, in my notes, I've got written down £5,525, but whether we actually get that or not is an entirely different matter. So, let's get all this lined up first. Should be us about there. Disconnect all the straps. 3,798. 1,000, so 4,800 and 5,800. And we got a bit more there, but yeah, I think. Can't do maths on the fly. Oh well, yeah, that'll do. That'll do. 27,345 quid. That will do just fine. So, back to the farm. Are you going to let me even turn round in this? Come on. I'm going to make it round just. Tell you what though, I am glad that I made the change from the previous trailer that we had to this one. It's just so much, with it being that little bit of a shorter bed on it, it's just a lot easier to manoeuvre around these tight lanes and around tight spaces, even though I didn't quite have the turning circle I'd have liked there and then, but hey ho, it's all good. Right then, anyway, back to the farm, and we need to, like I said, we need to get sorted, get the harvester jump started. I've got the John Deere in the workshop ready to do that. Yeah, get that jump started, and then hopefully get a start in our mint. Now, I did, again, because, like I mentioned before, this is the take 2, I suppose, of the recording of this episode. I have already had a go at harvesting that mint. And unfortunately, with the realistic harvesting mod that I'm running on this save, there isn't a preset in realistic harvesting to set the harvester up for harvesting mint. So I had to kind of frantically have a bit of a fiddle around, just smashing buttons on the keyboard and changing settings in realistic harvester to try and get the harvester set up to an optimum level that would allow me to not achieve any kind of severe crop loss. So yeah, it's I did successfully do it. I can't remember how I did it, so I might have to do that frantically hitting buttons and setting things all over again, but I did manage to do it, so thankfully. And interestingly as well, and I haven't done any alterations to the weather, this is how the game has naturally brought us, but when I had a go in take 1 of doing this, the weather was atrocious. It had been raining pretty much mostly through October, and as I jumped into November, it was also tipping it with rain, and part of me was thinking it was going to be exactly the same, but it's not. I've come into November today, and the weather is actually really quite nice, so yeah, I'm not going to complain. Just going to let it be, because that's the field moisture in the mint field in take 1 was much higher than what it is at the minute, so yeah, certainly not going to complain. Right, anyway, what do I need to do with this? I'm going to need this to move the grain header over to the field, because we can access the field from the gate where we had a look at before, but I'm not going to do it from there. It's a little bit more of a challenge with the size of the harvester and stuff, so because we've got 2 empty fields next to it, we can just spend a couple of minutes and drive around and go pick up the and use one of the empty fields as a bit of a landing area, I suppose. There is something actually I do want to show you very quickly before we do move on, and this is something a little bit special. I'm just going to turn the engine off in there for now. There we go. But yeah, this is something that I've got on the farm, using a bit of imagination, I suppose. So, ta-da! I suppose. Welcome to this Land Rover Defender. Now, I suppose a lot of you who have been playing FARMERSIM recently will know that Ross N Mods has recently released this incredible Land Rover Defender mod over on the Mod Hub. Now, as soon as I saw the very first post when Ross N Mods has announced that this was in the making, I was like, oh, that is the perfect farm vehicle for here on Witcombe Park Farm. But I can't afford these luxuries, can I? And I certainly can't now anyway. But fortunately, this hasn't cost me any money. Now, one thing that we have used, I say we because this came around as a conversation between myself and my good friend Nina. Now, those of you will in the community may well have heard the name Nina before. Nina and her husband Brian, they are sheep farmers down south, and they are partly relatively hugely responsible for the happening of the Farming Simulator community event that takes place every year after Llama. Me and Nina have become very good friends, and she essentially what's happened with this Land Rover is this is her Land Rover, and she's also good mates with Ross N Mods, and she had sent the photographs of her Land Rover over to Ross N Mods, and I think he has used those photographs in order to create this wonderful mod. So as a bit of a homage to that, I kind of thought to myself, I really want this Landy on my farm. And Nina, and I said to Nina, I can't afford it at the minute where I am on the farm. You know, it's like, I think all in all, it was about 36 grand to spec this out. And this is spec'd out exactly as Nina's is. Nina owns this. It's a 50th anniversary edition. It's quite a rare thing in the real world. There was only 300 or 400 of them ever made. And this is almost exactly how Nina's Land Rover exists. I've actually just realised as well that I've forgotten to apply the paint colour to the wheel arches. So yeah, sorry Nina, I'll get that sorted. But yeah, but it's a beautiful thing. It really is. It's perfect. And because of the recent release of Ross N Mods' Defender here, I just wanted to have it on the farm, and I think it's perfect. I'm going to chuck a couple of photographs of Nina's actual Land Rover here on the screen now. But yeah, she sent all of these photographs that I'm showing you here on the screen now, she had actually sent to Ross N Mods, and I think he's used them to help him model this thing over the last bit of time where he's been creating this mod. But yeah, absolutely gorgeous. It really is. It's the best Defender that we've got in the game, and best Defender that we've had. And one of the things that you can do with it is equip it as a right-hand drive model as well, which is fabulous. It really is. But this is exactly as Nina's Land Rover exists. Same colour. It's got the framework with the spotlights. It's a V8. Of course, it's a V8. It's an awesome thing. She told me before it gets about 12 to 13 miles to the gallon. But it's the 50th anniversary edition. The wheel cover is exactly as it should be. The wheels, these are the special wheels that have got the silver polished rim on the outside. You've got the side steps, and it's in Atlantis blue. Although I have actually customised the Atlantis blue in the mod. Maybe it's my eyes, I don't know. I'm not colourblind or anything, but to me, that the Atlantis blue that came with the mod just seemed a little bit too light compared to the actual photographs of Nina's Defender. So, yeah, I've darkened it a bit, I think, because I've got the unlimited colour configurator mod active on this save. I've been able to do that. But yeah, what a thing. So, using my imagination, or our imagination, Nina said, well, I'm going to go on holiday, so you can borrow it. So that's what I've done. And because because we're approaching winter, and I'm going to start needing to move the animals around, we're going to need to bring the sheep into the barn behind the back of the farm there, and also the Herefords as well. We're going to need to move those into the sheds. It's the perfect vehicle to be able to do that with. That's what she does in real life with her Ifor Williams animal trailer. And I've tried to mimic one of the photographs with this setup right here that we've got. So, yeah, it's all good. Now, talking about moving the animals, I know that there's been an incredible mod released recently called is it called the Pasture Grazing System, or Grazing Pastures, or something like that, which is absolutely genius. And I would love nothing more than to have that mod active on this save, because it just, to me, it just feels absolutely perfect. But because of the whole reconstruction of stuff that would involve, I haven't been able to do that. I think you do have to, you know, construct all the different pastures and stuff and make them join together and all that kind of stuff. So because of that, I haven't got that pastures mod on, because it would be great to be able to move the cows from the pasture they're currently in over to the barn, but the barn doesn't have a pasture anyway. Do you know what I mean? So it was going to be a little bit of a faff to even consider doing that, so I'm not going to do that before anyone asks. Right, anyway, so what do we need to do now? We need to jump start this behemoth, don't we? The battery is completely... Oh, that's what I was going to show you. The settings that I've changed in Advanced Damage System. So we'll go into here, go to ADS Settings, and we scroll down, and you've got the battery and the alternator. Now, by default, because I hadn't altered any of these, the battery capacity, if I remember correctly, it was right down here somewhere. I can't remember where. It might have been 15, it might have even been 5. But when you read the text there on the right, values close to 150 amp hours are more realistic. But you may barely encounter battery discharge problems at that level. Oh no. So I was like, yeah, of course. Right, so 150 amp hours it is, because I'm fine for batteries to go dead, but at the frequency that they have been doing, nah. You know what I mean? So I'm happy to have made this alteration. So we've got 150 amp hours, max output for the alternator at 200 amps, and a standby current of 0.5 amps. How that will work out, not too sure. We'll find out in good time. But even though I've made those changes, the batteries had already gone dead. The battery's dead in this, the battery's dead in the Claas forage harvester over there. So, you know, they both still need jump starting. So the right thing to do is jump in the deer here. Hello, deer. Get that started. There we go. We'll jump out of this. Now, I've got this facing forwards because of the door triggers as well, because I need me jump leads. And if I bring up the F1 menu, the button to disconnect and connect the jumper leads is circle, but that's also my button to close the doors. So if I had this turned around, and again, I know I've done this because of take 1 that I recorded yesterday, but trying to disconnect and connect the hoses here when you're within the range of the door trigger just ends in a mess, doesn't it? So we're going to disconnect, we're going to connect that one there, and hopefully we should be able to connect up this one here. You going to let me do it? Why can't I connect this up? There we go. That's better. Excellent. I was able to successfully do that without opening the doors. So let's get the... Oh, now you see that messes around with the opening of the door with interactive control. So I'm just going to have to merge through the glass for that one, aren't I? But now that we've got it hooked up, excellent. You're on. Nice. John Deere 6RT 250 chip plus. Insufficient system voltage. I've got a message. Good lord, has jump starting this thing off the John Deere taken that much power out of the... yeah, has it taken that much voltage off the John Deere? Goodness me. Right, let's... See that now, that works now. Right, where's me? How am I going to get my jump leads back now? Oh, there we go. You actually have to select it. Disconnect that one. Disconnect that one. Right, job done there. But why are you now telling me that the battery's gone a bit flat in this? I don't know. I've not got a message. It's not got an icon there. Right, okay. We shall see. Either way, we need to use this now anyway. We need to hook this up to the grain trailer, because this is obviously going to be running the grain cart. I didn't quite... In take 1 of recording this episode, I didn't actually get to finish the mint harvest, so I don't know exactly what yields and what totals we're going to get. So that'll be that is still going to be something new for me to find out in today's episode. But with the weather being slightly better than what it was yesterday when I tried it, I'm hoping that we may get a slightly better yield. We shall see. Right then, anyway, we'll get this hooked up. Where am I going? Oh, just made it. That'll do. Excellent. Right, so get you hooked up to there, and I also need the header trailer out, don't I? Right then, so I'm going to spend a good few minutes here now. I'll get this all sorted, and meet you at the field in a few minutes' time when everything's over there. And we'll get to harvesting this mint. Yeah, it just made sense to use this massive space over here to get everything hitched up and bring everything over, instead of trying to feed myself through that gate and not destroy the crop, because there's not a lot of room between the gate and the crop, is there? So yeah, may as well make use of it while we're not doing anything with it. So, let's get right up. Speaking of headers, actually, Custom Modding actually put a post out on their Facebook page a couple of days ago saying that they are bringing back their honeybee headers, which I'm very, very excited about, because they were my favourite headers back in FARMERSIM 22. There we are, PTO attached. So yeah, not too sure how long away they're going to be. I've left it in reverse, haven't I? But yeah, definitely looking forward to the release of those things with the Crary wind system as well, which is really cool. So, right, let's get those. In fact, now I need to unfold the harvester. There we go. I do love these animations and the interactive controls. Really, really cool. Right then. Anyway, get those off. And yeah, like I say, I need to muck around with realistic harvesting here. Now, like I said, there isn't actually a setting for mint. If I can't drag that out, but there's a profile for just about everything but mint. There's one for hemp, for goodness sake, but not for millet, mustard, oats. Oat and oats. Interesting. But I might just try and find the best preset that I can find that's going to give me as close to a 0% loss as possible, and also keep mind of the engine load as well. So I'm going to spend a few minutes here sorting this out. Let's pop some tunes on. Where's my radio? There we are. We'll get this done, get the last harvest of the year sorted, and I'll see you soon.
Drown out the sound. I wish I knew what you were thinking about. Is this thing in my head delusional till I die, babe? At least we stand a chance then, right? It's been years and it still kills me. Your dynamite, so pretty. Hold on, darling, don't let me down. Hope that you feel it too, just give me a sign. 'Cause I know it ain't over. You feel it too, right? So until next time, hold on, darling, don't let me go. I wanna savor this, so just hold me close. 'Cause I know it ain't over. You feel it too, right? So until next time, I'll leave alone, and just like that I'm back to being sober. We'll leave it all aside, 'cause this way will never be over. You leave alone, and just like that you're back to being sober. You feel it too, right? So until next time.
Right then, not long to go now. We've not done too bad. Now, yes, looking at the settings for realistic harvesting, the combine harvester, the engine load is quite, well, it is very high at the minute, but the crop loss at 0.3%, it's actually running a profile for grass, as you can see. This is the kind of best setting I've been able to do. I've dialed right back the target engine load down to 70%. And yeah, I can't seem to do anything about getting that engine load down. See, maybe this is just a direct consequence of not having an actual preset for mint here on the game, but hey, it is what it is. I'm doing my very best. But the main thing is the loss at 0.3%. That's the bit I'm more focused on. So at least I've been able to get that done. We've got 47% of mint over in the trailer, so I don't think we're going to get a full harvester from what's left here. So that should give us probably just under one whole trailer's worth of mint to get loaded into the silo there. So I'll crack on with this, get rid of that for a minute there, and get this finished. I think it's not long left. What's on the course here? 5.5 minutes. So yeah, it's not going to take long, is it? So we'll get it done, and I'll pick you up when it's all out of the ground. Right then, back at the farm now. We have got, thanks to British fill units, I can tell you that we've got 11.2 tons of mint behind us in the trailer. Now it will take a bit of time to get used to the difference in, obviously, you know, since day dot we've been working with litres, haven't we, in FARMERSIM, so I'm not too sure right this second what that would translate to in litres, but 11.2 tons sounds like quite a lot, doesn't it? So yeah. But it's still only 67% of the capacity of this trailer. I suppose you could work that out relatively straightforward. But as I'm running right now. I can't actually remember what the exact capacity of this trailer is. But anyway, let's get ourselves up to the silo. And then at least we can get it tipped in. And once it's in there, we can have a look and see what it's worth and see what that total is going to add up to. There we are. Job done. So, time-saving stock check. Where are we? Mint. Ooh, that's not so bad. Ooh, goodness me, there's a massive £9,633 if I was to sell it right now. But just under 18 grand if I was to sell it in... Oh, that's July. Okay, so it's not going to be January. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. But in total, that gives us 57... Yeah, 58 grand in total in crops that we've got in the silo here. So that's pretty decent. Looking at the difference in price between now and July, it's pretty much double, isn't it? Because as near as makes no difference. So we'll see what it is in January. But still, either way, what I do need to check out, actually, before we go anywhere... Just pull that away from the silo there. Just turn that off. Save the fuel. And just go and have a look at the moisture level. Where are we? Mint. Ah. Interesting, okay. Well, that's one thing, I suppose, because it is a unique crop, and this was added to the map for me by David Van Mol. It's not actually registering as having a moisture level. That might explain why the realistic harvesting didn't register it as a crop as well, because officially it's not one of those, is it? So I suppose that is what it is. It's going to be what it is. We're not going to lose any, we're not going to degrade any quality or anything like that. So yeah, that's a shame. But anyway, it is, you know, like I say, it is what it is. That's all good. But there we go. Right. Well, I am conscious of how long this video has gone on for. But either way, we've got the last of the harvest, the last of the year's harvest done. I do need to get a bit of cleaning up to do. I can actually take a quick trip through here. I've got the combine harvester here. I was just considering giving it a wash, but I also did have a quick look into the contracts menu. So I'll do that. I'll just show you where we're up to with them, because there's quite a few contracts paying decent money. Now, that's a sunflower harvest. We don't have a sunflower header, so I'm not really going to be able to do much with that. I don't want to be spending any money leasing a sunflower header. But we can do a sorghum harvest, 9.5 grand there. That's going to be worth that could be worth a look into. What else have we got? Spraying, stone picking, no. Wood transport, no. 2,800 quid for a spraying contract, nah, it's neither here nor there, is it? But the harvesting contracts are the ones that are paying the decent money. We've got a few days to complete those, so that's not so bad. Cultivating, 7 grand for a cultivating contract there. That could be worth doing. Westfield 42. Okay, right down over there. So yeah, that's certainly worth a consideration. But before I do anything like that, the next job I need to get sorted is sorting the herbicide out in our wheat and our OSR. Once that's done, then I can I'll just jump into flight mode actually and have a look from above. But yeah, once I've got the herbicide done, then we can focus on this field. We'll be getting the cultivator out. We'll try and get that. We will get that done before December, before the temperatures really do start to plummet. We're at 19 degrees at the minute, which is all good. So the soil shouldn't be too hard. But yeah, we'll get these 3 fields stitched together to make one. It's going to be a pretty sizable grass field, this, isn't it? Which we really do need to get on with, because we've got during that October time where I was skipping through time, we did make a dent in our silage bales. We've only got 7 left over here. We've got no hay left, so if I need any more between now and then, I am going to have, which I am going to need to, I will have to make a purchase of some hay bales as well. But here's our grass growing away. Now, it does say ready to harvest, but it's at growth stage 3 of 4, and I need to get as much as I can out of this, so we will be waiting to December to before we make that cut. But yeah, this and the other couple of fields though is the one that I'm very interested to see how the natural increasing of the of its nutrients happens over time if I leave the field empty. Like I said before, soil and fertilizer specifies something like if it's left empty for more than 7 days, it will slowly start to regenerate its nutrients. So hopefully by, when is it for? When's this one for? This is going to be oats, and we can't plant this till March. So we've got a good few months, and because I'm running 5-day months, what have we got? What's that? December, January, February. So 15... no, including November, because we're only on the 1st of November, so November, December, January, February, so that's 20 days that we could start to see a slight increase in the natural buildup of nutrients in these fields. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see anyway. Obviously, being a noob to soil and fertilizer, it'll be very interesting to see what happens with these. Hopefully, potentially save me a little bit of money with the products that we need to purchase in from soil and fertilizer, but we shall see. We shall see indeed. But for today's episode, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to call it here. Thank you very much for watching. I really do hope you have enjoyed this episode and found it a little bit of fun and a little bit interesting. As always, if you're new to the channel and you've enjoyed the video and you like the way I'm doing things, please consider hitting that subscribe button and jumping on board, joining the channel. Please give the video a like as well if you can. Ladies and gentlemen, it does do wonders, helps the YouTube algorithm do its thing. And if you like the idea of supporting the channel, there's a couple of ways you can do that. There is my Giants Partner promo code. If any of you are in the market for purchasing Farming Simulator 25 or any of its add-ons or DLCs, there's coffee.com if you'd like to buy me a coffee. And there is also my G-Portal affiliate link if any of you are in the market for an online server to play with your mates. Any help and support there, ladies and gentlemen, as always, is massively appreciated. So, thanks again for your time, folks. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.